There's so much buzz about attention today because it is finite, and we figured out how valuable it is in achieving better brand and business growth. And unsurprisingly, we all want more of it. The reason we're thinking about it now at this point in time is four things, right? It's cookie deprecation, it's the kind of clamoring for greater consumer privacy. You've got the demands of digital transformation that's presented our industry with a demand for better metrics. At the same time, we have technology that affords us the ability to capture real human attention data at a very granular level. So it doesn't have to be simulated. You don't have to rely on proxy data metrics. You can know if someone is looking directly at you or around you or not at all. And I think that transparency and that granularity makes for a much more kind of meaningful space.
So for advertisers, how is attention going to work as a metric? What are its characteristics as a metric and as a way of planning and buying media?
So for advertisers, attention shouldn't be a silver bullet. It should always be about understanding what is the client problem to solve, and therefore what is the attention needed? What's that requirement? Our approach at OMD and OMG is to understand how does attention work in terms of connecting strategic planning to buying to investment teams in order to achieve the business outcomes we seek, and which then allows us to determine kind of what's that way we quantify, how do we optimize, and how do we kind of productize attention across our different disciplines. And therefore, from there, once you know your problem to solve, you know your point of entry for attention, right? You know whether you're looking at, from a buying perspective, am I considering attention in terms of my placement, my inventory curation? Am I trying to understand how to get kind of smarter in terms of my commitments? And then you go into very granular actions, right? Am I evaluating an attentive CPM of the past and what my performance might be? And what are the kind of processes that follow as a result, right? So how do I shift inventory? How do I reevaluate performance? How do I get efficiencies of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10% improvement in an attentive CPM per campaign? So always understand what's your client problem to solve, and then you'll know how to work with attention as a relevant metric.
Advertisers obviously have lots of different metrics and KPIs to play with. How does attention fit into the mix? What are the specific benefits of measuring attention versus other metrics?
So the benefits of looking at attention in addition to your other metrics is firstly, setting a baseline to know how it can work for your business. I don't think there's any client that shouldn't consider attention. I think if you understand that attention is the kind of the focus direction on a fixed stimuli to the exclusion of others, you would always want it, right? You always want someone to have eyes on an ad, because if you don't have that attentive level, then frankly, you will never get the sales you seek. So it's always important how you use it and the dominance you give it. That is what varies depending on your goals, your objectives. So I see this year as very much setting for many clients, like, what's my baseline? How do I understand how to use it? So that over time I can determine, is it my holistic KPI, right? Do I start to drop other indicators because this one is giving me greater focus in terms of understanding my consumer, their needs, their priorities, and also, is it helping me make more positive, more responsible decisions in terms of the amount of time I want from you, right? And also, how is it helping my creative, my content, my narrative crafting? So always, I've said before, go back to your problem to solve, and then you'll know how to use the KPI.
For brands, in part, I'm guessing this is about more insightful, intelligent advertising and marketing. It's about knowing how much attention you want, when are you losing attention, when you're generating the right amount of attention, when and what kind of attention do you want from your customers and prospects?
Yes, attention is absolutely, when done well, about the rigor of planning. So do you understand whether you're looking for high levels of attention, right? And when I say high, I mean both in terms of the quality of that, but also the length of time. The research we've done directly links attention to mental availability, right? And from there, we know it takes, between 3 to 4 seconds to start to build that mental availability, which is required when you are looking to change your perception, right? You're looking for a more kind of thoughtful kind of consideration versus a nudge. If I know something really well and I'm in a category that's kind of more lower involvement and I'm closer to that point of purchase, I don't need 3 seconds. I'm perfectly fine with half a second or a second, right, to kind of nudge me into an action. So I think that rigor, that kind of quality, that thoughtfulness of planning to really understand your audience, right, and to return you to the metrics that truly matter most, that's what attention can absolutely deliver for you.
We're looking forwards over the next few years. If attention assumes a much more central, fundamental place at the heart of the media economy, what do you envisage changing? What will be better? What will look most different, say, 3 years from now?
If we get this right, if we respect human attention and we are understanding the implications of what we can do with that, I think, and this is where prediction and hope, they go hand in hand. What I think we will see is the crafting of a net positive attention ecosystem, one in which there is much more responsibility and acknowledgement that you are dealing with people's most important resource, which is their time. That when you direct someone's attention, you are equally directing their intention. And therefore, the quality of the content that you produce, the expectation for the environment in which you're crafting should be one that isn't wildly distracting, right? And you understand what it means to have that right amount of attention. Never take too much, never harvest it, never want more of it than is required, because for consumers to be valued, for them to feel respected, I think there needs to be an understanding of the agency that they have, like my personal agency, right? So my choice, my understanding of the data you use, of the insights you have around me, I should have as much of that as any media platform partner, vendor, and so forth. So that's what I think we could move towards. That's certainly what I hope for if we get this right.